You're tuned into Tackle Fanatics TV, and in this episode of TFTV, you get a chance to check out the fantastic Prologic Balkan expedition.
Here we are. We are just on the beginning of our fourth Prologic adventure. This time we are fishing in a very special place, and I feel really lucky to be one of the first one who have the chance to fish this lake. We are in Serbia. This is a lake very famous. There's a lot of people coming from all over Europe here fishing for pike, because it's mostly a pike fishing reservoir with a very small area where you are allowed to fish for carp in as we mean the way to fish for carp. And we are fishing on the opposite side of the lake now, where pretty much nobody ever fished for carp. I just tried a couple of times last year, having quite good result. It's a lake stocked full of grass carp, silver carp and carp, and I'm starting fishing right now to try some different spot. Rick, he's not arrived yet. I was in the lake already here yesterday with Stefan Jensen from Denmark, and we've been trying to fish the first 24 hours from the shore. We had kind of like 10 grass carp and one carp just short 20 pound, but we see a lot of movement all around here, also because this looks like a pretty perfect place for spawning time, and we are now on the beginning of April, so we are getting closer to the spawning time for carp. So I have tonight and tomorrow again to try some different spots. Rick will be here with Zoran, our fishing mate from Serbia, and they will join us for the video all next week, and they will be here after tomorrow. So yeah, this is not going to be easy. You see about the size of the lake and how many different spots. There is a kind of a sunken forest all over the lake, absolutely all over the lake. This would be probably the first problem, and the second problem would be the amount of medium, small-sized grass carp that seems to be absolutely everywhere. As a matter of fact, we had 12 run in the first 24 hours, and just one carp, 11 fish was grass carp. So these ain't gonna be easy, that's for sure. But we will do our best, and I really hope you will enjoy at least as we will this week in this amazing place. Tomorrow morning, Rick and Zoran will arrive also, and so it's the last day that it's just me and Stefan fishing. We are just going to try again in the same spot where I tried yesterday. I had a small carp last night. Today we'll try slightly more on the right side, and we'll have 2 rods with a float and sweet corn, and we'll keep 1 rod with a boilie just to see what's happening and if it will make any sense in the next days to spend more time here. So let's go and see what happens. We had a pretty busy night. Last night, me and Stefan, we had around 11 fish. We still have 2 fish in the sack to take pictures of. And we have 2 pretty rough days in front of us. As we look at the forecast, as you said, there's extremely strong wind. So no boat fishing for today and probably for tonight, even for tomorrow maybe. So we'll just try to cast and do whatever we can, fishing from the shore, even without pre-baiting from the boat, because it can be slightly a little bit too dangerous to now to use the boat. So we see. Rick is coming with Zoran. So from tonight there will be 2 teams, 4 of us. So there will be also more chance to catch some more fish because there will be more water covered with our rigs. So, like half an hour ago, the wind calmed down a bit, so me and Stefan, we managed to go out and pre-bait again all the area that I will fish with Rick from tonight, because Rick is on the way to the lake together with Zoran. There's no chance we can drop the rig with the boat because it's simply impossible to control the boat with this wind, so we just have to cast. So, long cast, heavyweight lead is 120 grams. We use a combi rig made using our Python monocore, and it gives a bit of stiffness, so absolutely safe, no tangle on long casting. And then a single bait without stringers and everything. We know already pretty much where are the area where the fish are feeding, so we should, with some good cast, we should be able to hit the spot. This is mostly how we will fish today, as long as the wind will be as strong as it is now. Single 24mm bottom boilie on a combi rig and XC2 size 4 hooks. So this is it. Go have a try. So finally, the British part of the team, Rick, have joined us.
How we doing?
Yeah, some problem again with the flight, but yeah, just half a day delay, all in all, so it was okay.
It's worth it. It's worth it to get here in these beautiful surroundings.
Yeah, definitely. So the team that has been fishing this spot, me and Stefan so far, we split up, and Stefan will be replaced from Rick, and Stefan will move to another spot, so he will fish the left side of the big island there is in front of us, together with Zoran, our Serbian mate. We will go out now, me and Rick, so I will just explain and show Rick what is the different features and what we have in front of us to fish, and we will have a talk as usual to add a common strategy to fish this place.
So we're going to put our heads together, basically, and come up with what we think is the right solution.
Yes.
Hope it's not like last time and we have to change the plans, but we never know. As anglers, it's always changing, so it's nice to have a look at the pitch we're playing on before kick-off, really.
Yep. And at least we're fishing here since 3 days, so we have a pretty clear idea anyway what is going on. Okay, this has not been my full job. I was out preparing with Rick and Savlo, our great cameraman, got a run on my rod. Ended up in this beautiful, really beautiful wild common carp.
Like a mirror carp.
Look how small it is.
All the fins are perfect.
Bloop. Now he's gone.
Done, Henry.
smaller, but it don't really matter.
And this is my first one.
So first Serbian fish for Rick.
Yeah,
One more country on the map
that's it.
for carp fishing. Double take in 2 rod pod. That's quite cool.
Yeah, very cool, mate. Busy time,
So-
busy time.
Strong wind in front of us. Seems like he's leading the fish just in front of our
Yeah,
spot.
it seems to be pushing them down the lake
Yeah.
into us, doesn't it? So no further ado, I think
Yeah.
while the going is hot, should we get these back and get the rods back out, Enrico?
Immediately, right now. Impression of your first night here in Serbia?
Blown away.
Literally,
Blown away.
literally blown away. Jesus, what a wine.
Well, here we are. I arrived mid-afternoon today. Spent all afternoon on Enrico's advice tackling up. Basically, we're using good, strong gear. Using good fish on range. You know, we're having to use good, strong, substantial gear to bully these fish away from the snags. And the wind's picked up. Must be force 10 now. Absolutely blowing a hoolie. I doubt I'm going to put this rod back out tonight, Henry. I think with this fish, I'm going to let this one go.
You can call it a day, I think.
Get our heads down and start fresh in the morning.
That's the best route.
But
Yeah.
what a way to finish the evening.
Good job, man. So we are pretty much blocking inside the BB.
We're hiding.
As you see, we are hiding from the wind inside the BB and just waiting for better time. So the only thing we can do is tying some rigs, think what to do, and hope that the wind will stop as soon as possible. Because we had a lot of carp just in front of our spot. Rick there to cast one rod out early this morning, and pretty much casting where he can, because you cannot cast in the spot where we are fishing now. And he had a run after 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Yeah.
So it seems like this wind is just pushing the carp just in front of us. But as you see, if you just look outside, it's terrible. It's not possible to fish or free bait or whatever, especially with the boat. So let's just prepare our rigs for better time.
I wound my rods in, put some fresh bait on and put them back out on the spots, and literally within 10 minutes, not what we was after, but an absolutely gorgeous, dark, but very, very fat grass carp. So we're going to slip this one back, we'll get the rods back out and we'll see if me and Enrico can put a few more on the bank. Catch us up with us soon.
So Rick, finally, after 48 hours of storm and wind, this is the first time we are able to go out and check the spot properly. Actually, we've been able to go out a couple of times just to pre-bait very quickly because of the wind and the waves, so it was not really possible to.
It is, and now that wind's dropped, it's a totally different lake, isn't it?
So now we can go back and just because we have this marker float pretty much in the same spot we found in the very beginning, the first 2 days I've been fishing with Stefan. So now is the first time that I'm going out with Rick, so he can check exactly where he's fishing and to see where all the trees and the snags in the bottom where they are located, and so he can have a pretty good idea and overview where he's fishing exactly. Finally, so let's go and see.
Okay, so we're out here in front of my swim. Basically, there's a marker float that Enrico dropped a couple of days ago, and we've been coming out periodically when the weather's allowed us to keep the bait going in. So, like any other angler now, I just want to find out what sort of spot that we've been baiting up on top of. So, I've got the old probing stick out, and we know roughly we're fishing in about 1.5 meters of water. And I can tell you straight away, this feels quite firm, soft to the touch but firm, and I should be a telltale sign yet. The end of the pole is thick with black clay, so we're fishing on a nice clayey bottom, and it's basically we've been probing around all the way around here, and it's all the same. Now, what you can see as well is just behind the marker float, maybe 10 yards behind it, you'll see a couple of trees just sticking out the water. Now, anything back from there is an underwater forest. It's absolutely inundated with sunken trees. So I've brought the marker float forward away from that, so I know roughly when I'm fishing locked up from the bank and I get a take, I've got a little bit of stretch in the line, so they're not going to be able to get to that forest. Hopefully I can turn them and stop them before they get there. Again, the implement here is on fishing safe, Henry. And it's a telltale sign with this lake. It's roughly 1.5 meters all over the place, but there's so many sunken trees. So Enrico's done the hard work, to be fair, and he's found the spots where we've got a clear route for lines to come out to the edge of these sunken trees and try and tempt the fish out of these areas. So that's my spot. I mean, it's absolutely nice greyy black clay that I'm fishing on top of there. So I'm really happy with that. It's nice and clean, the bottom, away from the snags.
So I think it's, as I said, it's quite interesting because our spot is pretty much on the left side of this sunken forest.
Yeah, it seems to come round, doesn't it, in a big arc.
Because this is your spot and my spot is just following and going just more far out from the bank.
Yeah.
And then fishing like, as I said, on the left side of this sunken forest. So we can pretty much concentrate the two pre-baited area in our two marker float. But then let's say it's pretty much one big area pre-bait because we have.
Well, the good thing as well, what we've done, Henry, we've got the new marker floats out there as well. Now these are a massive advantage for night fish.
For night,
Basically, these are our illuminated EVA floats, and if you don't know, they've got a small LED inside the top, so they light up at night. Now, during the daytime, we're marking our lines, we're clipping up to where we're fishing, so we can quite comfortably cast easily. Now, come night time, and this place is really, really dark out here. One of the blackest nights I've seen last night, and standing out like a beacon in the middle of the night was our two marker floats. So again, after a fish, we could quite happily recast confidently, knowing that we're not going too close to the snags, and we've basically got a target to aim at night, which is again a massive advantage.
We are quite accurate on that. Yeah, that's for sure.
So we've been quite lucky from that point of view, and they're just sat out there. You know, we've got 1.5 meters of basically fluorocarbon, heavy duty fluorocarbon, with a couple of leads on the bottom, so they're anchored well in place. And even when the waves get up and lapping about, they're not going to move the floats. You know, we're quite confident that they're staying in place and they're not moving. So I think realistically, that's about our tactics and what we're fishing on sorted, Henry. Okay, Henry, I'm more than happy with the spot that you've chosen for me. Should we go have a look at your spot now and see what sort of...
And as long as we are there, we just throw also some sweet corn.
Yeah, we'll do a bit of pre-baiting while we're out there.
Let's go and have a look.
Okay.
So Rick, this is my spot. As you see, I choose this spot. This, as you see, is slightly more far away from the bank, so I need longer cast, around 30 yards, longer than yours. That's also why I'm using braid line.
Okay.
Because here you see only a couple of inches of these branches coming out of the water, but this is really the border. And right after my marker float, there's a real forest that is actually the same as yours.
Yep.
It's just a very big area with sunken trees everywhere. And I have this big island just on my left side.
Yeah.
So I have this kind of a narrow channel here.
I mean, that's
where the fish can cruise and where I'm
talking
pre-baiting
about,
also. Yeah.
To be fair, because I mean, when I arrived here, straight away I saw the island and thought, oh,
Yeah.
you know, every angler knows the island in the middle of the
Exactly.
lake. But on further investigation, we got out there and found only maybe 30 centimeters of water.
Yes. We saw a lot of fishes because you see there's also a lot of lilies just blooming now. The question is, it's so shallow, and we saw a lot of fishes, but they are all extremely small fishes, grass carp and carp. They are going there to catch the heat from the sun.
Yeah.
So I'm just fishing on this side, which is deep, pretty much the same as in your side.
Okay.
Yeah, we're around 1.20 meters.
Yeah.
And the same bottom. So I just have to cast quite closer to this, to my marker float. But this is a pretty nice area to fish with.
It's a good
And
solid,
it's quite,
solid bottom.
It's a solid bottom. There's some holes that I don't really understand what they are, because you can really see that it's just sinking like this, and you just move 30 centimeters and it's solid clay.
Yeah.
But it's, especially with the braid line, you feel it right away.
Yeah.
So if you cast in the wrong spot, there's no problem to understand it and to recast immediately. So what I'm going to do now is just throw a couple of spoons of sweet corn in the water and a bag of pellet, all in the same spot, just to create a big cloud.
Yeah.
And then we can come back. We can go back and recast our rod.
Okay.
Also because the day is getting better and better, so I think we should really have our rods out as soon as possible. Okay, Rick. Finally, we are fishing. No more storm, wind, and rain as we had in the last 48 hours.
Yeah, it's been rough.
Pretty much buried inside the bivvy.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good idea to have a look at our rigs and to tie some spare rigs for the next days. From my side, I will mostly fish with a 20 or 24 millimeters single bottom boilie and 2016 Snowman presentation. And this is the rig I'm going to use for the next days, probably all the time. It's made using an XE5 size 1 hook tied up on a AB sling 30 pound, which is extremely sinking but soft and supple.
Yeah.
You see, so this is extremely good. And then I have a 15 centimeters 25 pound Python monocore link, which is a hollow leader with a heavy duty monofilament inside.
Okay.
So it's quite stiff, sink, and even if you have to cast really strong cast in very strong wind, it gives a good anti-tangle effect. What about you?
Yeah, I'm using very similar sort of setup, to be honest. Again, I'm using the Python monocore link.
This is the longer one. This is the 25 centimeter.
It is,
right?
yeah. I do like my long links. Basically, this is joined to the Viper NS.
Right.
I'm using this in 20 pound, but it is doubled up, so
Right.
therefore 40 pound breaking strain. This is tied to a size 6 XC4 hook.
As usual, you use much smaller hooks than me.
Yeah,
It's a different school.
It's a UK thing.
Yeah,
a UK thing. And again, Snowman presentation with a 20mm bottom bait, topped off with a 16mm high-vis pop-up. So very, very supple. Lots of movement in there, but very similar rigs.
Yeah, and strong for an environment where we are fishing now.
Definitely, yeah. They have to be strong. They have to be safe. But very similar rigs, and a lot of faith in both. I know you have in yours, and I have in mine, and they're both catching fish, which is nice.
Let's tie some more now.
Okay, Enrico, you showed us your rig in brief.
Yep.
Take us through how you make this,
Sure.
well, how you're going to construct it.
Sure. So first of all, you take a short section of the AB sling, 30 pound in this case. Step one, I just put a drop shaped ring.
Yep.
Where I'm going to put my boilies in. I will actually just put through a thin braid, and then I will just give the the length to the hair
Yeah.
as I need, depending on what size of bait I'm going to use. So this is a very simple needle. It's just to put the ring in place, nothing more.
So there's going to be no pressure on this really?
No,
other
no,
than your
not
bait.
at all.
That's
Not-
what
exactly.
your bait's attached
Just the
to,
bait.
yeah.
You see that's you see, these are an extremely simple knot.
Yeah.
So, step 1 is done. Then I get my hook, XC5 size 1, as I said in this case. I love these hooks, especially in this condition, because it's extremely strong and it works really well. Also with big bait.
Yeah.
So, then I decide the length of the hair, because the boilie we stop just above the ring.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4 turn. 1, 2, 3 more.
Okay, so what you've done 4 turns behind the eye,
Yep.
and you've kicked the hair forward, and then done another 4 behind.
Exactly. And then I go straight back on the eye.
So basically a knotless knot with a difference.
Yep. So as you see, the effect is quite aggressive.
Yep.
And then on top of this, I will also add liner sleeve,
Okay.
just using a small splicing needle.
Yep.
So put it through the line first. Because using this, you can also, let's say, increase a little bit the length of the shank of the hook, if you need it. Here it is. Okay. And then last step is just a simple figure 8 knot in order to create a loop, and I will give the length I want to this
Okay,
short
so
rig.
by judging where you do the
Yes.
loop, you can vary the length of
Exactly.
actually the bit that the soft supple
Depending on the condition, in your own point of view, how you want it long. I normally like it quite short. So 1, 2 turn. Here you are.
bit. Okay.
And then I just tied it up using a needle. So, first part of the rig is done. This is actually the real last, not even the last meter, the last 2 inches
Yep.
that will make the difference. And then to complete the rig, I use in this case quite a short ling, so it's a 15 centimeter, 25 pound. So now that we have our rigs, you see this is ready with loop to loop.
Yeah.
Just put the back, the hook into the loop, and that's it. So right now we are almost done, Rick. You see this part sinking and quite stiff.
Yep.
Extremely safe for casting and extremely, it will lay perfectly on the bottom. Last section also sinking, extremely soft. So I will just cover the loop-to-loop connection with a short section of silicone. Just
You could use silicone, you could use a bit of putty. You could
whatever,
use,
yeah. You can actually also use
personal
putty
yeah.
if you put a pop-up. Just short section of silicone.
Okay, very
And then,
good.
yeah, and then to rig up my boilie, once we have this ring here, just take a short section of really thin braid, or even dental floss.
Yep.
You can use whatever you want. So that is going through, and I put it double through the ring.
Yep.
And then I decide what kind of bait to use. A single 20 millimeters bottom boilies, for example, in this case. Take the braid. And then I just
Force it onto that ring.
force into the ring.
Yeah.
So the boilies is absolutely solid here.
Yeah.
And as you see already from this position, if you want to change from a single boilie to a pop-up presentation,
Yeah.
to a snowman presentation, you just add a snowman,
That's right.
and then you close the hair a bit longer. So what you do is just tie a simple knot and tie it down. Stop boiling. Now the stop boil is in, and you close the knot on the boilie. Make one more just for safety.
So there's another good point to add there, to be fair. I mean, the fact that you're tying your hair stop in,
Yes.
especially across in Europe on these European lakes.
Or you have crayfish and catfish.
So it stops them nibbling the hair stop out, and before you know
Stop boilie will never go out of this.
So it's quite a secure rig. You know, you can put that out with confidence and know them little devils ain't nicked your hair stop on your bait.
Exactly. So here we are.
Fantastic. It's quite a fishy rig, that one, mate.
Simple, effective and safe, both for the fish and for us. So let's have a look to yours.
Okay, yeah, mine's along the same sort of lines. The differences are the materials. I mean, I'm using the Desert Viper. Now this is ever so thin, really soft. So first of all, I take 20 centimetres off here. I use a cutter on the box. All the Prologic materials have their own cutter on the top of the box. So roughly I want this to be 20 centimetres. So from there, I basically double it over, and I'm just going to tie it in an overhand loop. Right at the end I want it. Can we cut this bit because I've already done this?
Sorry?
Can we cut this bit because I've already done it? So that's just secured there. All I'm going to do now is trim the tag ends off. Now again, I'm going to use this knot. That's what my boilers are going to sit on.
Okay.
So all I'm going to do is try and make the knot slightly bigger now because this braid is so thin.
So let's say this is pretty much the same function as my drop shaped ring. You just have a big knot.
So I just do an overhand granny there and pull it down to the knot, and I've increased it in size.
Alright.
I'm going to put another one in there. So as long as it's close to the hook, close to the knot, I can pull it back down to the knot.
Alright.
Yep. Now the other end, I squeeze the other end together. Now this is where I start to construct my rig. So that goes through there, the eye of the hook.
So you double up the line with a loop inside the eye of the hook.
That's right.
Okay.
So pull it through this side. Now all I want to do, because I don't want that at the end of the boilie,
Right.
I want to offset it.
Alright.
So I know.
So this big knot will be pretty much in the middle of the boilie.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, inside the boilie. Now you can gauge this two ways. The easiest way to do it is to put a bait on, to be fair.
Yeah, you can sacrifice one boilie just to have the right, just to have the right length.
So I'm fishing snowman style. I'm going to put a 15mm pop up on there as well. 16mm even. So with both baits in place, then I know where to start whipping.
Alright.
Okay.
Yes.
So now I position my baits exactly where I want, and you can see the
And
knot
the knot you tied before is just right
at
here.
the bottom of the boilie.
So the boilie will not move and go closer
Okay,
to
so I'm nipping that in both hands now.
Yep.
Because I haven't put a boilie stop on, I can pull them back off. And then basically, a knotless knot. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the more times I whip down, the shorter
Of course, yeah.
this rig's going to be. So if I wanted to make it really short, I can whip quite a few times down the shank and then come back up. Maybe not that short. And go straight through the top of the hook again.
So in doing this, you already have your loop. You don't need to make a knot.
Exactly.
Actually.
But because this braid is so thin, I mean, this is, like I say, when it's doubled up, there's 40 pound breaking strain there. And then of course I have my loop, which will easily attach to my leader. But first, obviously I put my shrink tubing on there and a little bit down the shank to hold it in place.
Right.
So I don't have my bait whipping round. So once my shrink tubing is in place, basically it's going to look like that. Now I haven't got the kettle boiling at the moment, but you can see there I have quite an aggressive turnover on there. And that basically does the same as your liner.
Exactly. I do like a lot this solution where you have the double line here.
Yep.
It's actually really...
And then to join it to the leader, oh sorry, the main construction part of the rig, if you like, the boom. Again, I use the longer ones. So with the end out of the eye, basically pull the two braided parts apart to form a loop again. I pass it through.
Right.
And then push the hook back through. Make sure the hair comes through. Okay, so therefore it doesn't double back on itself.
Alright.
Yeah, and that's quite an often mistake that people make. So it tightens down. And you find that makes a stronger connection than the ones where you pull them through and press it back on itself.
And I know you, Rick, you like a lot to use a small piece of tungsten.
I do, yeah.
So it is also a good point for...
That's it. What it creates there, it makes a nice little lump, and it gives my tungsten somewhere to... And the reason I put the tungsten on, again, I like that hook to be pulled down into the bottom jaw. You know, so that's the added benefits of that. So you can, I mean, my friends use this rig like this at home, you know, without the shrink tubing, and again, you can see the hook's very aggressive.
Oh yeah.
You know, the point that hook's hanging down. But it's personal preference again. I like to put the shrink tubing on there and a little bit up the shank just to keep it on neat, and especially when we're casting the distances, it's a risk that I don't want to take on the cast that it's going to tangle up, so I want to make sure it's spot on. So that's it really.
Good one. Let's see how we look. Will we hook on the fishes?
We'll get these out.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So high pressure today, as you see, is turning out extremely warm. Today we have a lot of fishes showing the surface, but we have no activity in our rod. Rick is trying also with a zig rig. So just to try something different, we decided to rig up one rod each, one for me and one for Rick with the boiled sweet corn. So we'll just try to cast this in the pre-baited area anyway. Let's see if something will happen. So now we are in the spot of Zoran and Stefan. As you see, this is the island that is pretty much divided into two swim. And Stefan is fishing like 70 meters casting. There's a free spot between a sunken forest and the island. And Zoran is fishing just here, a bit shorter range on the left corner of this sunken island. We went here just to say hello, and Zoran was just releasing a nice grass carp. So we are going to have a look now exactly where he's fishing and what kind of rigs and presentation he's using. So in 2 minutes he will be ready, and we see how they fish.
On the corn.
It's been a long waiting, Rick.
Yeah, very long, very long. Well, this
Just
is
to catch up to date, we were almost blanking since 20 hours. After a big storm, we had 48 hours of very bad weather, strong wind and rain, and now extremely high pressure, very hot weather. In the last 20 hours, we didn't have a single blip, pretty much. And
we saw fish out there, though, didn't we, Henry?
yeah, we saw fish showing in the surface, but not moving at all. So we go with the boat.
Well, this was a rig that the last grass carp was caught on. Spectrum fluorocarbon, main part of construction, down to a short length of abyss link, and a very small for the European size anglers, a size 8 hook with 2 bits of maize and a bit of yellow phone just to give it a little bit of buoyancy, and my telltale bit of tungsten putty just to counterbalance it. Did the business. Okay, well, it's been an absolutely hectic night. Two of these small commons so far, and 3 big grass carp. Finally, we're coming into sort of like 5 o'clock in the morning now, and to be fair, fatigue's got the better of me, so I'm going to slip this one back and see if I can grab a couple of hours kip, and then we'll start again tomorrow. on you.
Got it? That was nice. Waiting for about 48 hours for a carp, and right on the spot with the strawberry bait. So let's see how it looks. The wind is picking up, and it looks like rain is coming in, so it's better time to get back to the base camp again. Yeah. Super.
Okay, what seems to be an endless supply of grass carp, well, small grass carp. They seem to be getting bigger now. This one's probably just short of 30 pound, but it'd be nice to see a proper king carp, either a common or a mirror of some species. But while the days are a bit quiet in the daytime, you know, we're catching plenty of these. So fingers crossed that the proper carp will show up at some point.
So, one more in the net. One more that is almost in the net, fighting with Rick now. Me and Rick were just about to talk and to wonder how many of them is swimming around here, because we have used already, how much? Around 150 kilo of maize and around 70 kilo of boilie, and we simply cannot feed them enough. So our swim is just hammered of these from these fishes, which are nice. I mean, don't misunderstand me. Absolutely beautiful and strong fighting fish. But we would like to see some more Serbian carp, as we are here for that. So yeah, let's just release it, and I will help Rick to land his grass carp. This is a chunk, really.
This feels heavy, unless it's got a stick attached to it or something like that.
You manage yourself, Rick. Finally.
Was that you?
It's me.
I thought it was a pike. Oh, the net's stuck on something. God, it weighs a ton. Well done, my friend. Okay, well finally I've got one of these elusive Serbian truly wild carp. I mean, they've been hard coming today. We must have had about 20 grass carp, but finally, as the sun's setting and the light's fading, one of these chaps decides to show itself. So I'm not going to waste any more time. While the going's good, I'm going to get my rods back out and let's see if we can get some more on the bank.
This one could even be a carp. I hope so. At least how it behaved so far. It's a barbel.
A small barbel. Well done. So Enrico,
Yeah, here we are. Only 1 day left.
Yeah.
Time is running fast as usual.
yeah, we're running out of time, aren't we? To be fair, it's not been easy at all.
No, especially when you face such a big and wild waters as this one.
Yeah.
As we said, I've been fishing this lake a couple of times last year. In this side, which is the non-fished area of the lake, actually just 5% of the lake is fished for carp. So we really have a very small history
Yeah.
about the fishing on this area, and we've been facing quite a lot of problems, especially with these small grasses.
Yeah.
It's coming in
Yeah, they'd be nice.
big schools. And
Nice if we wanted to catch them, but we're not here for them.
no.
And to be fair, they've been a pain in the backside.
yeah. I was
yeah.
just happy to see the nice fish that Stefan have caught today,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in a pretty strange way, because he'd been just casting out the rig quite far away from the pre-baited spot with a double 16mm boilie, and he had this beautiful common carp,
Yeah.
which was our target actually
Yeah.
when we came here. So at least we had one,
Yeah.
but we were expecting a bit more, honestly.
Yeah, well, we had 5 last night in darkness, and you know, the odds were stacked against us with probably 20 grass carp to 5 common carp, and at the moment the bigger guys ain't showing up, are they? That's the problem.
No. And we also had this huge temperature dropping, and
Yeah.
this morning when I went out very early in the morning, there was frost in the boat.
Yeah, there's a ground frost, wasn't there?
And just the day before we get the face burned out because
Yeah.
of the sun. So, and now it's
And now-
raining again.
No, yeah, it's got to chuck it down.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to keep plugging at it. We're trying a few different things tonight. I mean, I've stepped off the maze on my baited spot and just going for the boilie approach, see if it'll interest the carp rather than the grass carp.
Let's just play the last 36 hours
Yeah.
as best as we can.
That's it.
Oh.
Get in.
Ready? Nice one, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you.
Nice one.
Pressure's off now. I told you I was
Oh.
under pressure.
That's a nice Serbian common.
Okay, well, we've just me and Henry's been
Sorry,
through
but I want to be in the pictures with a fish like this and a sky like this.
Yeah, I mean, we've just had an horrendous storm, gale force winds, see the sky behind us. We've had torrential downpour, and I said to Henry jokingly, I says, one of us is going to get a run while this is
Here it is.
this is happening, and no sooner do to say that, maybe 10 minutes later, the middle rod tightened up on the BKS2,
Yeah.
tipped off with a bit of yellow, and finally I've got myself a proper Serbian common carp.
Nice one, Rick.
Thank you very much.
Now I'll take some pictures of you. This. Aggressive. Good.
out.
Oh.
Hello.
Well, after a brief moment of madness there, 2 nice fish in half an hour, it's inspired us because we was feeling a bit sorry for ourselves to basically wind our rods in, change the baits, make sure everything's nice and sharp hook wise, and recast with fresh baits on as we nearly go into the evening. So as they say, every cloud has a silver lining. The storm is now in the distance, and we're going to get these rods out, back on the spots, and fingers crossed, tonight is Enrico's turn.
Let's see, I hope so. I don't really mind anyway. I saw a beautiful fish on the mat, so we are a team, and I'm happy for that, really. So, but of course, any more beautiful fish is more than welcome.
This one I had on a baited spot on 2 16mm V-berry boilie from Prologic. Nice fight, did a good job. Nice little fat carp. Small single 60mm red beast pop up, put in near the baiting area but not exactly in it, with a short hook link. So let's take a look at the fish. Yeah, nice little one. Yeah, they're welcome on the mat. Any size, they fight like hell.
Okay, seems like that this The grasses have been keeping our spot clean from the almost 200 kilo of maize and nearly 100 kilo of boilie. That's why we've been struggling so much to have some carp, but that's how it is, so just keep on fishing.
Right, well I just got the shout from Stefan. Basically we're fishing maybe 100 yards away and Stefan's put a beautiful Serbian common carp on the bank. Stefan, what did you catch it on?
I had it on two 60mm red beast boilies.
Okay, Prologic red beast does
Yeah,
it again.
yeah.
Plus another fish on the bank.
Yeah.
Fantastic, well done my friend.
Yeah.
It's like home for you, Rick. We are now approaching the last night of this Serbian adventure. I'm just trying to drop the lead a bit longer than before, a bit more closer to the sunken forest. Fishing with a 16mm pop-up. This is the first catch of the evening. Hopefully some carp will come to visit my spot. For the moment that's just another grassy. I'm going to take some pictures and release it.
That weight's keeping them down on the bottom.
No, it's on the surface now. Okay. Okay, even if it's not a specimen, for sure, I'm quite grateful and happy to have a carp finally in my hand after so many grass carp and problems during the last few days. So this is one of the things we've been here for, we've been traveling here for. So just put it back and hope to get a big one during the night.
Okay Enrico, so here we are on the last night.
Unfortunately, yeah.
And I mean it's a beautiful lake, a totally wild lake. and well, it's not been easy, mate.
We paid our ticket because of this
Yeah.
wild and unknown water.
Yeah.
But it's been rewarding. I mean,
Oh,
you had a good fish. Stefan had a good fish.
Yeah.
Of course, not specimen, as most of the people mean the size of the fish. But I think in a water like this, they are pretty much priceless.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the fish that I
It's
had,
wild animals.
never
yeah.
seen a hook
No,
before. It was
no.
absolutely perfect condition.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a lot to be said for things like that. I mean, coming out here, I mean, I'm blown away with the size of this water in the first place. You know, it's absolutely huge, this water, and it's untapped.
Yeah, it's the whole adventure you have to look
Yeah.
at. So, but anyway, we are just about to start the last night.
Yeah, and we've done a few different things
Yeah.
today, haven't we? I mean, we woke up this morning, basically a crack of light. I mean, I was out there watching the water, knew that we're counting down the days now till our adventure finished, and tied all new rigs up. Enrico's done exactly the same. We've got our heads together, and Enrico's moved his spot.
Yeah, and yeah, we also did some changes today. Besides changing again the rigs and presentation, I started to fish a bit more with single pop-up presentation that I didn't used that much before.
Yeah, and you've been casting that right on, well, as far as you can. physically.
Yeah. I moved also my marker float on the edge of my casting distance, casting range. So as long as there was some light today, I used the boat to drop the to drop the rigs, and now I'm just casting because it's also getting a bit windy. And out there with the rubber boat, it's not really easy.
No,
So
it's
I
not
have
ideal.
illuminated marker, and it's much easier to cast.
Yeah, but
Also
that
because
sort
we
of
are-
like sums this week up in general, hasn't it? I mean, because we've gone through it weather-wise. We've had ground frosts in the morning.
Yeah.
We've had a couple of days of red hot heat where
Yeah, you
we've
can see our face.
both got sunburn,
Yeah.
and then today we're sat here, torrential rain and hailstone.
Yeah.
You know, and in a shallow lake and a big lake that's open
Yeah.
to the elements.
Yeah, because we need to mention that we are fishing in 3-4 foot of water.
yeah, it's not deep,
So-
but a vast
and
expanse of water.
And
as
we
well.
saw this huge difference between high and low pressure on the fishes.
Oh,
Because
definitely.
with the high pressure, there was no chance to catch a carp, even a grass carp sometimes.
No.
So now the weather is good. Of course, it's not really comfortable, but it's good condition to catch
It is,
some more fish.
But I think that sort of like sums this adventure up, because it has not been easy. It's been challenging.
No, but
You know,
that's why it's beautiful. That's,
That's
why
right.
it take you.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
we're hoping for a bit of the unexpected.
of
To be
course, as
fair,
usual,
you know,
as
we know from Tails and some of the anglers who have fished here already, and there isn't many, you know, some of the fish that are available to catch in this water. But again, it's such a vast water. There could be, you know, acres and acres and acres of water out there,
Yeah.
and they could be at the other end of the lake. We don't know. And this is the thing about fishing these big waters, you know.
And any good fish out of this water is just a brick of gold.
And to be fair, we're fishing for the unknown, aren't we?
Yes.
It's an untapped water, and that's part of the enjoyment for me. You know,
For
and
me too.
it's not all about catching the
No.
fish. We're here in good
No.
company, good spirits.
Yeah.
You know, and
Awesome place because
yeah.
the surrounding here is just
That's beautiful.
super beautiful.
That's
So
it.
Let's fish as hard as we can tonight.
So we've got one more night.
Oh,
One
yeah.
more night.
Tomorrow,
And,
first afternoon, we start to pack down,
Yep.
and unfortunately, well, it was good to go back home and see the family.
Definitely.
But it's been a good week anyway.
Yeah, it has. Yeah. So we'll catch up again in the morning.
Or maybe during the night.
Fingers crossed, and we'll try and put some nice fish on the bank tonight. Fingers crossed. Let's
Yep.
see what happens.
This is last fish from this spot in this lovely lake, Josa Lake in Serbia.
Welcome next year.
Yeah.
Okay, quick conclusion for the week. It's not been a tricky week. We've had everything from weather-wise. Basically, they've thrown out at us this
Yeah.
week in bucket loads. We've had gale force winds, beautiful sun, hailstone, torrential rain, you name it, we've had it this week, but it's been worth it.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I love the fishing when it's a challenge, and it's not all about catching nice fish. Sometimes it's just being here and enjoying your fishing. So from me and Enrico and this beautiful Serbian lake, we wish you well and all the best in the future.
Yeah, just show the last two fishes we had.
You've been tuned into TFTV. Tackle Fanatics stock an extensive range of Prologic products at the best prices around. We'll stock a vast selection of bait and tackle from all the leading manufacturers. To view our range, log on to www.tacklefanatics.co.uk. Remember, Tackle Fanatics offer finance to make your tackle purchase more affordable. Tight lines and wet nets, remember it at TFTV.